How do you get started with product operations? Product operations goal is to create a product engine that is going to help teams build product at scale, is going to help them facilitate their work, and it's also going to help them align across different teams, not only product teams, but also go-to-market teams, and also build the feedback loops and the visibility in all the activities that are going on. My name is Juan. If you don't know me, I have been working in companies, tech companies for over 20 years, and I have been in product leadership roles since 2017. And I have built systems and operations in different companies to help teams really scale the ways that they're working. Product operations is going to achieve its goals by basically creating systems, processes, facilitating teams' work, and creating the visibility on all the activities that are going on and bringing cross-functional alignment across different teams. Many would think that the best way to start with product operations is to start mapping all the processes, is start really seeing what is the current operation model, and not just with how the workflow goes, but also the dependencies between teams and how to start finding how to fine-tune this operations engine. And that, of course, is going to be part of the work. But I actually would recommend you to do something else for a very good reason. First of all, if you go this direction, it's going to take you very long time. And before I continue, I just want to let you know that I have a Black Friday offer for all the courses and templates that I offer to help you get started and build up a serious product operation system in your company. But I would recommend something different to start with when you start in your product operations, whether you start your journey or if you're starting a new company. What I would recommend to do first is to go and talk with the teams directly. Have quick meetings. Don't take too long time. Try to do this in 1 or 2 days and try to identify what are the biggest gaps. What are the biggest problems that they are having to get things done? You will usually get this quite fast because most of the times what people are going to be frustrated is that they cannot communicate with sales, very common problem that product people have. They cannot communicate with marketing. It happens every now and then as well. They cannot get things done. They are overwhelmed with the amount of work. It's very difficult to prioritize because everything is important. You will hear some of these things, understanding which ones are the problems and the bottlenecks that these teams have, and try to help them tackling those. This is probably going to give you the best win for starting your product operations framework implementation in your company. What you want to do is have these quick wins that is going to help people understand where the value of product operations is. Many times the problems don't come because of people being evil. Usually people are not very evil at work necessarily. People are just trying to do their work, but they don't have good ways of facilitating, of aligning. They don't have good ways of working or having a structure of how to make decisions. And then they just rush into them. And this happens to everybody, whether they're product managers, whether they're in sales, whether they're in marketing. Not to everybody, but to a very big percentage of the people. And you as a product operations person are there to help them to align, you help them to facilitate them to do their work. Trying to identify those bottlenecks. So for example, sales product not having the same, not being aligned. Okay, so how do you bring that alignment together? There might be different things that you can do. There can be clarity on what product is doing. Product many times don't want to talk with sales because they just see then that they're going to come and complain and ask for more things and then just blame them that things don't work because product is not doing the things. But then what happens is that then product shuts down and doesn't tell about what their goals is. So sales is just trying to do the best, trying to sell to whoever could benefit from the product. But if product goes and says that, hey, our strategic goals for our product this year is that we're going to concentrate in certain industries. Let's say in the past I worked for products that were focused on construction businesses, not just construction, but the whole construction workflow. And let's say that what we are focusing right now, our primary customers, let's say that they are engineers within the construction workflow, but we are also targeting maybe the construction companies. or the steel detailers, or the precast contractors, or whatever it is. So we can say that, hey, this is our main core, and we are also building now features to start helping this market. What you're doing now is that you're sharing your strategic goal of where your product is positioned and where it wants to grow with sales. So sales understands who they have to talk with. I know that this should happen. I can tell you from my experience, it very often doesn't happen, and this communication is missing, which means that everybody ends up pulling in different directions, trying to do their best, not being aligned, and then bringing frustration and problems. If you as a product operations manager can help bringing that visibility across the different teams, you are proving a win. You're proving the value of pro operations. You're proving why they should work with you and how you can help them facilitate, you can help them really start building that process that is going to help them win. So what I would recommend you is to have this idea of having the communication with a few people in the different teams to start to understand where the problems are. What you're building now is basically you're building with an MVP mindset. You're building your minimum viable product instead of going for the full-fledged pro operations. You had to have that vision, don't get me wrong. Don't just try to do things iteratively without having a goal. Always set up your goal. You had to understand why you want to do pro operations. Once you had that goal, start finding those small wins that are going to help you prove, because this is going to be basically social proof, proving your value proposition, the benefit of pro operations to the rest of the team. And as I said earlier, if you are serious about building your pro operations in your company, you can go and I would recommend you to go and check two things. One is first a free guide to establish a pro operations blueprint or framework in your company. And the other one is my course about how to establish a pro operations playbook in your company. With these two resources, the first one is free, so you can just go and download it, check it out, and see how it can help you really start finding and pinpointing where are the areas where you can improve the processes, the operations in your companies. So how do you get started with pro operations? And of course, you have to do much more things to get started with pro operations. But if you want to really prove the value, instead of just jumping into doing everything that you need to do in order to set up a full pro operations process, try to start small. Try to understand what are the main problems that people have and try to go with an MVP approach that is going to help them understand that, hey, this person is here to help us work together. This person is here to help us build a product at scale, is going to help us align across different teams, is going to facilitate our workflow, it's going to bring that visibility and feedback loops into all the work that we do. This is what you want to do and prove your value as soon as possible. Basically, this is a little bit like a pitch deck for yours, like how you're proving that you can actually do this job. Then you can be on the thinking of the long term. How are you going to build those systems? And I would recommend you still, of course, continue talking with people because they're going to be having more pressing problems than others. Although you had to build a full pro operations process, there will be things that are already working. There will be processes already working in the company. So you don't have to go for everything. Understand what are the parts that work, which ones are the ones that need more work, and focuses on the ones that first you can do the quick wins, and then the ones that you can really start ramping up the operations ways of working that you have in the company. If you want to know more about this Pro Operations framework that I talked about earlier, you can either download it in the pinned comment and in the description, it's going to be there, the link to it. But you can also see this video that is going to help you understand better what this framework is all about and how you can start really thinking about pro operations and really setting up a ways of working that is going to help the teams and establishing those operations for them to really start building that product engine in the company. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It helps massively. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.